Thank you so much for joining us today. I'm Jonathan Gill. I'm your guys' chauffeur throughout and host through the inside look at Aisera. Joining me today and our guest is Daniel. He's going to be your main resource for all things platform capabilities, and Joanna is going to support with all the engagement. Daniel is going to give you a peek underneath the hood, and we're trying to showcase how easy it is to really get started. So we got three main topics today that we really want to cover. Make sure you guys are pretty competent. Simple ways to build AI agents. Everybody's asking about them. It's in the space. Let's touch on it. AutoBrief. This is like a finance document analysis, right? Specific today, but we'll get into a little more of the context later. And Hyperflows. This is cutting edge. This is the fun stuff. So we're gonna do some Freshservice ticket management agents. Throughout the session, please drop notes. Joanna will be a partner in kind of sifting through those and making sure we can facilitate questions in real time. So we're all excited to have you here, and we're excited to have Daniel. So Daniel, let's get started.
Perfect. Yeah, thank you very much. And yeah, excited to be here as well. Let me go ahead and get started by sharing my screen and we'll jump right into it. Like John mentioned, we'll start with the easiest ways to really get started with Isera, right? One of the beautiful things that we have is that we have a very powerful platform, right? It can allow you to deal with very complex use cases, but we can also have very easy, ready to go use cases that can shorten the time to value in implementation. So that being said, we'll start with what we call today AutoBrief. This is a document analysis tool. For today's purpose, is going to be finance kind of related. However, it's not limited to. And the beautiful part about this is that, in my opinion, this is what takes the least amount of effort out of all the solutions that we can put in. This is out of the box, right? What you can see here, what you're looking at is what we call our Copilot channel. This is a website provided by Aisera. You don't need to host it, don't need to do anything, ready to use. And all you have to do is start uploading documents and start asking queries about it. The beautiful part about this is that it's not just RAG, it's actually an agentic experience where it can be a conversational, it can be a mix of Gen AI, it can be a mix of a few things. So as you can see here, the first thing I'm going to do is select this little plus button and then upload my articles. In this case, we're going to talk about software license agreements, right? Different contracts, 2-year versus 3-year term. We're going to go ahead and upload them both. And we're going to give the system a few seconds here to upload and enter them. But as you can see here, the main things I want to highlight is that you're not generating a custom ontology, right? You're not creating workflows. You're not creating intents. It's just easy peasy. I just had these 2 contracts ready to go. I need a quick analysis. I just don't have time to read through 60 pages of each or however long they may be, right? Something that's going to make you be efficient is going to give you the power that you need to answer to your customers faster and also give reports to your manager, right? Make sure that everybody's moving as fast as possible. So as you can see here, they are ready to use. All you have to do is select the articles that you've uploaded. There's no limit here. Today, for demo purposes, we're doing 2, but you can upload quite a few articles. From the admin perspective, you can also limit. If you want to say maybe for this experience, I want to allow only 5, 10. From a technical perspective, there's no issues there. Upload as many as you can. But as you can see here, very simple. We can now, as a matter of seconds, start asking queries, right? So let me go ahead and ask a little bit more of a complex question. And as you can see here, we're doing quite a few things. This is just not one direct Q&A, a simple question, a simple answer, right? This is a compound query. We're asking it to, one, use GenAI to generate an email. This email could then go to your customer, to your employer, to your coworker, whoever may be going to. But not only generating the email, we're gonna compare and contrast, highlight the differences, right? And also make a recommendation. So this is one of the main points and the main differences that we like to highlight when you hear the words RAG versus agentic, right? The RAG technology, what it's doing is analyzing a document and give you a summarized answer. Very powerful in certain scenarios, but this is where we're taking the product forward and put an agentic architecture into it, right? It's capable of understanding the user's requests. Either doesn't matter how simple or how complex. As you can see here, we're giving him multiple commands within a single query and it's executing them all at once. This with minimal level of effort for configuration. as you can see, all I did was upload the documents, and then I can start asking questions, driving actions as well, right? Let's say maybe I want to dive a little bit more. Um, say maybe highlight the main differences between the contracts. Um, Now that I'm at it, maybe continue and say which one includes support, or maybe just summarize one or the other. But this is a really good feature. One of my favorite things that we have released here recently, just because it's something that as an organization, you on board with Aisera, you can start using almost right away. Right. This is also one of those day zero features that we include. And a lot of my customers, they choose to use this as we start building out more complex scenarios, right? More action driven and more analytic driven scenarios. But as I go ahead and ask these other couple questions, are there any thoughts, comments, questions on AutoBrief? Happy to answer anything. But the idea here is to highlight simplicity, right? As you can see, in under a minute, I'm up and running, right? And I'm up using the system, asking questions proactively.
Yeah, Daniel, no question. Actually, there was a question around RAG versus agentic, but you answered that, so thank you for that. There is another question, however. If an employee's issue requires human intervention and cannot be resolved autonomously by the AI, does Icera's solution have a mechanism to seamlessly escalate or hand it off to a live human agent?
100%, 100%. So human in the loop, if you ask me, again, my personal opinion is one of the most important parts of AI, right? We cannot expect AI to solve the world for us, to understand and know everything right away. There's going to be very important sectors where you're going to need that human in the loop to either finalize that gap or maybe just help guide the user through it. So that's what we call an escalation flow. And that escalation flow can be designed various ways, right? It can be done by user, right? Maybe your C-suite gets different access, gets direct access to support, right? But it can be done via maybe create a ticket in the simplest way. We can do a live chat handoff if we have a live chat system to connect to. So various ways to kind of keep that human in the loop. And the beautiful part about that is that we have yet a whole another set of tools to help the agents once they get that case, right? We can also use AI from that perspective. So something I tell my customers a lot is let's think about where in the ticket lifecycle we want to introduce automation, because Aisera has tools for every single part of the process. If your goal is deflection, we use something like this, right? If you want to gather analytics, we can do a listener within your ticket in queue. But once it gets to the human, then we can then use our agent assistant tools for that.
Thank you.
Perfect, perfect. So I think that concludes the auto brief section of it. The next item that I want to show you is how we do hyperflows and how we can simply build AI agents. So I'll step a little bit above when it comes to complexity, but we keep it very simple, because what we're doing here is using natural language in order to design this and minimizing the level of technical knowledge required to put them together. So for this, what we've done is just prepared an integration with Freshservice that allows you to do basic ticket management. So I'm going to pull up here. This is our web chat channel. This is a very simple website that I put together, but this can be deployed in your intranets, right? If you have maybe a local page that your users are accustomed to going to, right? Maybe a support page. It could either be customer facing, right? But the idea is that it allows for that self-service embedded anyway. And what we're going to do is come in here and say, show me a list of my open tickets. And then we're going to go ahead and create one as well. And then after that, we'll deep dive, we'll go right into the admin tool and show you exactly how this was put together. Perfect. As you can see, very customizable with the experience, right? It sets the priority, gives you hyperlinks if you want to open it. Right, you can do it with cards. This is another very powerful thing. As we design these things, you can customize how the answer is given, right? It could be more image driven to allow the user more dynamic experience. It could be list by preference. It doesn't matter to us, right? Maybe let's say now open a new ticket for my work chair, and it's going to go ahead and be able to build that out. And here's the new ticket. It sets the priority. It gives me the hyperlink, and it's also created within Freshservice. So to jump in and show you how we build these agents, this is truly where the magic has happened. We have lots of templates ready to go, but our goal is also to allow you to democratize who builds these, right? And enable more people within your organization to create AI agents. And that's really where the industry is going, right? There's more power when there's more technology and more people. So that's what we're doing here. Opening up this technology to allow more users within your organization to create their own agents. So for that, what you're looking at in here, this is our admin tool. We're going to go into the automation section and into the Hyperflow section. So what we're going to do is go ahead and create a brand new Hyperflow in here. We're going to go ahead and call it Freshservice Ticket Management Agent. We're going to give it a description. Description is very important, right? Because this is also when the system is published and ready to go, this is where it starts thinking, where it starts, this is how I behave. This is the things I have to do, right? And this is the part of that's agentic versus your traditional workflow builder, right? Your traditional workflow builder, you're going to have to guide it step by step on what to do, right? Get an API call here, has a variable there. With this new intentless engine, what we're doing is giving the AI agent a set of behavior and rules to how to behave and a set of tools to execute those actions. So the description is very important. So as you can see here, you are Freshservice Ticket Management Agent. It handles all of the CRUD activities that can be done, create, read, update, delete, anything available within that API. You can get as detailed or as vague as you want with the descriptions, but this is entirely up to you, right? The use cases, let's define them further, right? So you're going to view existing tickets, view my tickets, list all tickets, all the fun stuff that we can do today with any ITSM. I'm going to click OK. And one cool thing about this is that it automatically generates a prompt for you based on the information that we give it. However, we want to be more detailed. We want to be able to control this, right? And notice how I'm going to go ahead and do this in a conversational manner without really having to code anything just yet, right? So for example, we're going to give it this little command in here to show it how it's going to go ahead and retrieve the context from the conversation. Very important, right? That is how the system understands what the user's asking. That's how it matches it to an intent, to a delivery or a fulfillment. The other part that we can do is give it behavior instructions. This is how you're going to behave. These are the types of queries that you're going to answer, or also the ones that you're not going to answer as well, right? So for all queries, perform ticket-related actions. Do not attempt a knowledge lookup, right? So again, you're setting up guardrails to how you want this specific AI agent to behave. If you want to open it up, if you want to give more capabilities, no problem. That's a design question for you, right? And an experience issue, not issue, but question, right? Continuing in here, just to make sure that we are creating a full agent in here, we're going to give it core responsibilities. And this is where we start tying it to the functions. And here, as you're going to see here shortly, I'm going to add a couple workflows, very minimal, right? But this is where we start tying it to actions. If the user requests a ticket, go ahead and use the following function in order to do so, right? Another thing, this is just kind of for fun. If you want to create any specific rules outside of it, right? So let's say you go ahead, maybe the user asks for something specific topic, right? So if somebody asks specifically about network configuration, security, or getting connected with Acme, this is almost like a fallback that you're creating, right? So as you can see, with this prompt generation, we're giving it a persona. We're telling it how to handle the context, how to behave, and what are the core responsibilities, what tools to use in order to match this. The difference between your traditional workflow builder, again, right, just to reiterate, this is a really important part. You're not really creating all that API mapping back and forth. This is where the agentic section of our tools coming in. You're telling it, behave in the next way in a conversational manner, right? And then ultimately, what you're going to do is add functions. How do you execute the rules that we just gave, right? So those functions are going to be what we mentioned in here. So for example, it could be an API, it could be a workflow, it could be quite a few things. Let's go ahead and make sure I upload the ones that I have, DC08 demo. And these are the ones I just made for the presentation, right? The initialization is what's something that's gonna go ahead and gather the data stuff for the context of the conversation. The RAG answer that we saw here for these three, the network security process, and then all the actions that you're going to need. Close, create, update, list tickets. These are out-of-the-box workflows that we have today for you to use. Another advantage of Aisera, there's going to be thousands of these, but the beautiful part about this is that you're not limited to the integrations that we have. I've worked with lots of customers that tell me, we built this API in-house, right? It's not available in the market. How could I? The exact same way. Our workflow builder, if you look at it, for example, if we come in here into the create ticket, this is not a complex workflow. All we're doing is passing that REST call, that post call, right? And we're setting up the variables that we're gonna push into that, and then it creates a ticket. So instead of having to create that very complex logic within your traditional workflow builder, all I'm doing is, this is the REST execute call that you're gonna utilize when somebody conversationally asks to create a ticket, right? So as you can see now, it is our AI agent making the decision to which API call to use and which variables to extract from the conversation in order to deliver that fulfillment, which is what we saw here, the ticket itself. So in short, this saves everybody lots of time, even me as a solutions engineer, right? When I meet with all of you guys and you tell me, can you do X, Y, and Z? In short, the answer 9 out of 10 times is yes, right? As long as we have access to the right systems of record, as long as those systems of records allow us to make these actions, we have various ways to configure this with Aisera. This is where we kind of lead in the industry into what we like to call an intentless engine, because you're not going through that original approach of having to create intents, having to generate thousands of expressions to match that intent, right? Where if everybody speaks slightly different, right? I myself, I'm from Costa Rica. I may say things a little funny sometimes, right? Instead of having that exact word match, now we're using our conversation dialogue engine to truly extract and understand the intent, and then make the decision of which tools to use in order to deliver that. And that within the scope that we have given it here in a natural language perspective, right? So as you can see here, without having to code, I've gone ahead and created 2 AI agents, one for financial document analysis. However, this could be legal, this could be anything for sales, think about creating opportunities and such. And a second one to do ticket management as well. All this done in under 30 minutes. And that's kind of where I personally see the industry going, right? I think there's more power and more people utilizing these tools. We don't want to restrict it to only developers. If you are a developer, just imagine all the use cases that you could cover.
That's awesome. That's very intriguing. Thank you, Daniel. We do have a question from the audience. So maybe you could speak a little bit about the voice capabilities. Beyond text-based interactions, does your AI agent also have voice capabilities to assist users?
100%, 100%. And the beautiful part is that we consider ourselves channel agnostic. As you can see here, these are some of the ones available, IVR being one of them, right? And the beautiful part about this is that we're going to connect to your IVR system. It doesn't matter to us, either Genesis, 5.9, whatever it may be, right? And what we're doing is that we're kind of doing that CDE, the conversation dialogue engine that does the conversational kind of extraction. And I personally love it because I struggle today when I call my bank. I need to ask for help, right? I have to go through a menu of 5. And then once I get to a person, I then have to repeat everything. We're shortening that, right? You can conversationally say what you're looking for, let our AI expert match that to a fulfillment, and skip those 10 minutes of back and forth, right? So if you are introducing this tool via IVR to your customers, think about the experience that you're enhancing. Right now, you're going to be a leader within your industry, right? Because your customers are going to be pleased that they don't have to do all that back and forth. In the back end, right? All that we're doing is once we understand what the user wants, then we're kicking up any of the workflows, right? It could be the Hyperflow that we mentioned that we built in here, or it could be another workflow that we've designed in the past. But IVR fully supported while we work on those day in and day out. Actually, myself working with a couple customers, with a couple coworkers here, and delivering a custom demo shortly.
Awesome, Daniel. Actually, I have a couple questions or myself, right? Usually, when working with people, they say security is extremely top of mind for them.
Yes.
Not only deployment, but of course, it's the top of mind for people with jumping into AI. Can you talk about how Aisera differentiates?
Yes, 100%. So we're actually one of the few players out here that, first off, at architecture level, allows flexibility. Most of the conversational AI tools today are going to be SaaS only. And here's the tricky part. I challenge everybody here, as you do your research with us or outside of us, always ask what's happening with the conversational data. Is that being used to train internal models? Is that being used to train external models? Which models are being used as a whole? The first point there, Aisera does not leverage this to train any model, not including ours, even on a SaaS deployment. Once that is deployed, it's a Kubernetes architecture. So everything's contained, yours and yours only. It will never be used to train our public models or anything like that. That is step one. Step three, if you are, for example, I saw that somebody works on fintech, right? Highly important information. You got to go through PCI compliance. There's lots of compliance rules. If, for example, your organization has determined that due to security, any of these tools need to be deployed on premise, we're one of the few organizations that can do that, right? We can deploy a full on-premise architecture. We could be hybrid. We could be full SaaS. Even in the SaaS environment, we provide you the security and the comfort to know that none of this data is going to be reused to train other models. None of it is going to be exposed. So, for example, I can come in here and say, hey, what is my direct competitor working on, right? Or do they have the same opportunity as us? Not that, right? So that is the beautiful part about this and why a lot of companies come to us, right? There's lots of freemium out there. There's lots of kind of public-facing tools, but you have to be very thoughtful about what's being asked and what happens with that data. And within Aisera is yours and yours only, even in the circumstances that you choose to leave, all that is exported, packaged, and given right back.
Awesome. Thank you.
All right, we have another question here. Let's talk about ticketing, and do you encounter any customers that have been disciplined about their ticketing process or lack of the discipline, such as documenting resolutions?
Yes, we find it all. We find it all. So two-pronged answer. We can help those that don't have discipline to kind of create that. A lot of customers ask me, they can get overwhelmed. Hey, I got to do a lot of homework before I can start using one of these tools. Short answer is no, you don't. Actually use AI to help you get there. For example, if you don't have resolutions, there's quite a few things, and I'm going to jump here into our admin tool into a couple places to show you. But there's a few steps that we can do to help you kind of get there, right? And is that one, we can analyze your tickets as empty or as full as they may be, and then we can create clusters, knowledge ideas, so you know what to build. After that, as your users start asking questions, we're going to gather those interactions, gather that feedback, and we're going to highlight gaps, right? And then out of those, let's say you don't have good resolution notes, then we can use our knowledge generation tool with all that information to close that gap, right? So that is in the sense of a customer that doesn't have super clean data. If you have gone above and beyond and your data is pristine, then think about it. We just make it a lot faster, a lot easier. We run this analysis. What we do in here is that we create a taxonomy. So we kind of group your tickets into sections that we have available out of the box. So our goal here with this exercise is to give you faster time to value, faster implementation. right? So that kind of goes in line with the argument: do we want to build? Do we want to buy? Do you want to do something in the middle? Icera can absolutely accommodate to all three strategies. So it's really important that when we meet pre-sales, you talk to myself, you talk to account executive, tell us where you are today, and also what is your vision, right? Where do you want to go? Because we can tailor a program that helps you get there.
I love that. Jonathan, unless you have any other questions, we have one final one, which is a good segue into actually a webinar we are hosting on September 10th. The question is, can you share the most common challenges you encounter when it comes to the adoption of AI solutions? And I'll paste a note in the chat about the September 10th, which will deep dive into this and many more topics on agentic AI.
Love that. That's a good one. I love when customers ask me that question because I think we can take the topic even outside of IT and go into human behavior, right? Into the psychology of human behavior, right? And just thinking about how you order a pizza 5 years ago, how do you order a taxi 5 years ago versus how you do it today, right? How you have your home assistants, where you have to say, when is my next meeting? What's my next schedule? I won't say the name because it's next to me and it will answer, right? But we will have the Google, the AWS, Amazon assistant. So it's natural for somebody to have a standard process. I'm used to going to email. I'm comfortable with that. However, when you get introduced to something new that gives you that instant resolution, it's just a matter of time where you make that transition naturally without having to go with in-depth training. The other part is the first part where you see AI within your tool is going to be the conversation dialogue engine. And that's the other part. You don't need to know what you're looking for. It's like bringing your car to the mechanic. You know it's broken. You know you need help, right? But you can't exactly say what it is. Let the expert guide you through it. And that's what Aisera brings to the table, right? Come in, say help, and then our CDE, or conversation dialogue engine, is going to ask follow-up questions until it has a clear understanding of what you need. That's another reason why we see such high auto resolution in comparison to other tools, because we don't make assumptions. If you say something, maybe write a paragraph of all just gibberish, that's okay. Go ahead, try it out, right? The system's going to ask follow-up questions until it's clear, and then it helps. So we have quite a few ways to help with adoption, but in short, what I've seen here in my experience with Aisera and with AI, it happens more natural than we expect, just because of that human nature expectation of auto resolution, instant gratification, and satisfaction, where I can get my answer in what I need in a matter of seconds instead of having to wait hours, days, whatever long the traditional process may take.
That's awesome, Daniel. Thank you so much. And something you said is really powerful is we don't make assumptions. That was, it's funny we talk about it all the time and the difference in, auto resolution rates, but I think that's a clear differentiation. So we really thank Daniel. Thank you so much for joining us today. It's really great to see you and getting your expertise. Joanna, thank you for hosting. I'm Jonathan Gill. What I'm going to do is I'm going to drop my email in the chat here. Feel free to ping me directly if you guys would like an additional meeting or follow-up or a one-on-one conversation. We run a global business, so we're happy to suffice wherever you guys are. If you need anything in the interim, come find us. Thank you. Have a great
Thank
day.
you. Have a great day.